Hello, everybody. We have a Humanly Us X Lit United podcast. Today's guests are
Ivy,
Natasha,
and your moderator, Dr. Morrell. Today's conversation will be about relationships of all varieties, and me and Ivy will be talking about our story a little bit romantically. With Natasha, will be asking any questions that she can come up with. So should be some entertaining things moving forward here, eh?
Yeah, we'll just be flowing through what comes up for us and what we think might be helpful for people who are maybe looking to find their next romantic partnership or just have any questions about their own, maybe.
Yeah, I got some questions for y'all. I think the people will want answered for sure.
Give the people what they want. Tell us how to find the wives and the husbands.
Seriously.
I never saw myself giving relationship advice at all. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, you know? Well, it feels that way, but I guess in comparison, I suppose I somewhat do.
There was a really funny bit from Eliza Schelsinger's Elder Millennial.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that? Where she was like, when people ask you, where did you meet? It's less about where it was and more about how they can find their partner.
100%. They're asking for themselves.
As well.
Yeah.
The ring, give me the ring. It's like, yeah, chill.
The people that hear it in the club, like the clubbers are like, yes, there is a chance.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like,
no. It definitely seems like there's strange times with trying to find a good partner. I think the advent of the internet made it extra interesting.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially apps too. Add that in.
Yeah, like back in the day, you just had to like literally just run into somebody, you know? And if you didn't like make the leap right then and there, you might not ever see this person again.
And men actually approached women. I feel like that's so rare to find now. Unless I don't count drinking. Like if they're drunk, like I don't count that. Like just genuinely approaching women.
Word.
Like at the gym or a coffee shop or something. I feel like
it's a lost art.
We need to bring it back.
I feel like there is a happy medium for approach because sometimes it can come off really creepy.
Oh yeah.
A lot of the time it can. But
I've done that before.
If the guy knows how to read energy and maybe he waits for his presence to be known and then he presents himself.
Or like lock eyes 2 or 3 times. Then
yeah, and then maybe even come off as just like, hey, I want to just get to know you instead of I want to take you out and like show you the world.
Yeah, because
But
I'd be like,
the Disney movies show that though. It's always somebody coming to steal you away in first sight. So the expectation is to be knight in shining armor. And now we have to be, oh yeah, I'm just regular. I'm not interested in you in that kind of way, but if it happens, it happens. You know what I'm saying? So look how, what do you call this? The little blurred lines on how to act and how to behave. Plus a bunch of snake oil salesmen. Do this, do that. It's all over social media right now.
it's either like love bombing or situationships.
Yeah.
I feel like that's always the case. Not always. Sometimes.
I was definitely guilty of I think love bombing too much. Hey, like all the time being like super nice. I did not know that that's probably like the greatest turn off for women, getting, a couple good morning texts and, and like, hi, super sweet to you, super nice. It's like, that like chases them away, which is weird. It's
Yeah,
like,
I actually like them.
You do?
Yeah.
It is really cute when it's someone you like.
Yeah, exactly. That's the key word. Somebody you like. Yep. Because if it's not, then you're like, you get the ick. And if it's like overbearing too much, like, good morning, my sunshine buttercup pancake sparkle queen.
Yeah. I feel like when we first started dating, I think you did. We were always really good at reaching out to me in the mornings and just establishing some kind of connection. Like, hey, good morning. Maybe letting me know what the schedule might be, what he might be doing, and I wasn't too bought in to where I needed it, but it was nice to have. And then obviously there were days where maybe he might forget, and I was like, it happens.
Yeah. It's
I'm not going to put like weird pressure on it where I have to have, but I think we had already established
that's also another weird area. Is like back in the day, what are you gonna do? Mail somebody a letter that's gonna get there in 3 weeks, maybe never.
Yeah.
You know? So like, why is that like a recent thing that I have to text somebody and connect like, because some girls like morning, noon, and night.
Yeah.
She would be able to deliver at least 3 text messages.
Yeah.
Like that never existed in any time frame.
That's so true.
Ever.
I never thought
And
of
now
it
you're
that way.
expecting the male brain to be able to pull that off. Yeah.
That's so true. Yeah.
Well, women are communication experts, you know. It's like they're just better, more skilled at it, you know. And then men aren't necessarily that, unless you get into like the really higher end of like, you know, leadership and people who have like legitimately practiced communication and understand the value of it. Whereas like it's very intrinsic for, you know, women. So they're putting like, you know, feminine expectations for communication levels on to men. So like they're three to them is like normal. Like I can go literally years without texting my friends and then get it just here's a song from some artist. You remember when we saw this?
Yeah.
Dude, I'll never forget this set. And it's like, dude, that was 4 years ago. I have not seen you since.
Right.
It is so different.
And we just pick it up right then and there versus, you know, traditionally girls are always like texting each other and pinging and sending stuff back and forth. That's I'm not saying guys don't do that. That's definitely more common. But back in the day when we first got phones and stuff,
Yeah.
no.
I mean, I feel like even now in our communication relationship, we're really not that overbearing with each other. And sometimes there are times where you have gone on a trip or I have gone on a trip, and the first day, like, we don't even talk to each other. And we just kind of know that, oh, they're just busy. And there's not really like and then whenever he does or I do, we reestablish that.
Why is it that you think, like, what makes it so comfortable? You know, because a lot of people, like we said, aren't like that. I've been guilty of that in past relationships. What do you think are like the main things that keep that confidence in your relationship, where it's like, okay, it's okay if we don't hear from each other, but we know we still love each other and everything's fine?
I think that having that established trust in each other happens outside of the text messages and the phone calls.
Yeah.
It's not dependent on those things. I have had friends who were married, and the girl was always like, if he doesn't text me the first day that he goes on vacation, like, it is just, you know, terrible, and I'm going to throw a fit.
Yeah.
And typically it was also because she didn't really trust him like that.
Yeah.
And they didn't have a great relationship at home together. So she's trying to find all of these other ways to get reassurance when that doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah.
Like, oh, so you're saying that if he sends you a good morning text every single day, that you feel more secure in the relationship? I think that's a bad place to start.
And is he really saying good morning, or is he doing it because he has to?
He's just doing it because he has to, just to keep you off his back.
That's so true.
And that's generally how that goes, you know. So I would say definitely so what would you ask? What are you doing? How are you doing? I already know how you're doing and what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ivy was that way before I started dating her already. And then we got together. Just it's only doing better, and I know what kind of behaviors. I don't need to be suspect about anything.
Yeah.
You know, what'd you do today? Oh, I twisted off. You know, I'm gone. I binge drank alcohol. We went out at the club, and yeah, we're fighting. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like, I can already tell you what she's doing.
And you wouldn't have entered a relationship.
I'll be reading a book. She's going to the gym. You know, she's working on herself.
Yeah.
Keeping things together and organized, and like helping people out. What else would she really be doing? And I think would be the same for me. I'm probably up to a little bit more shenanigans, but usually that's included in it though.
Yeah.
Like Ben is probably doing shenanigans, and she
knows she can trust you.
Yeah. And like I'm very safe about what I do and think that I'm pretty skilled at it. So there's not a concern for me like getting in trouble or something like that. That's ridiculous.
There's absolutely no question on my mind whenever he leaves the house and then is gone for a few hours. Like, why haven't I heard from him? Well, he's
never
busy.
been like that.
But I mean, there have been a few times where whether he leaves or I leave, we've been gone for a little too long, and like we were supposed to go to the gym, my mind is immediately like, oh my God, did he die?
Yeah.
That's my only concern.
Doing something stupid. Yeah, I can see that though. That's like one of those things, right?
But never not like is he out?
No.
Talking to girls or even, and I'm not just saying this because I'm y'all's best friend. Yeah. But I mean, even just from the outside like perspective, I feel like you guys have always been super healthy. Like I've never even thought that way, and I'm not being biased. Like you guys I feel the love between you two. Like I've never even, we've never even had conversations like that. Where's Ben or anything like that?
Yeah. So that
or like looking through his followers.
Usually
like, who is he following?
Where's Ivy? It's Ben calling me. Where's Ivy? Because she never, she's so bad at texting.
Right.
That's so true.
Yeah. Oh, I guess that's the other thing that kind of separates us out is Ivy's phone. She doesn't really answer text or calls like that.
Yeah.
So she primarily is not like a reach out and bother you kind of a person. Yeah.
No. Yeah. It's just we've known that about her. You went in dating her knowing.
That's probably one of the reasons I liked her. She doesn't, doesn't always bother me, So it's like if a man is trying to do something, and I have a friend who is like this, but his girl will or his wife will call him 10, 15, 20 times a day, just going off about stuff. And
That's a lot.
And he has to, and if he doesn't answer, that is a problem. It's a real problem, not like a small problem. It's a big deal. And I couldn't imagine that. Like I'm doing stuff. Like you're interrupting my frame of thought here. I'm trying to get some stuff done.
But also I'm trying to say it's the nicest way possible. Doesn't she have a life too? Like I would call in 10 to 15 times
a day.
Yeah, it's more common than what you think.
Wow. See, I'm even though I'm single, when I was in relationships, I didn't even really do that. Other than my high school sweetheart, okay, that's
pretty.
That doesn't count.
Pretty, I would say,
that's pretty extreme.
Yeah, that's like next level.
You're on the far end of it, but that's where that looks like, though. What I'm saying is, it does go there, and it does get worse. So,
I believe it.
But things like that, I wonder, like, that's why I asked you guys that question about y'all, like, because it's like, what is the root of that? It's not that she just wants to be annoying. There's got to be something that's like.
Definitely highlighted since the beginning of this is that everybody has their own walk with the spirit, with their spirit. Everybody walks with their own thing there. The kingdom of heaven is within me. Her kingdom of heaven is within her. Your kingdom of heaven is within you.
Yeah.
So even though we're together, this thing within us always has to come first.
Yeah.
Your connection to God comes first, essentially. And I've been sure to make that a real thing in case something ever did happen. You wouldn't want to be like, if you worship your partner, that is idolatry. Right?
Yeah.
You're putting this person above your own requirements, your own connection, your own soul, and you are a person. You're a human being too.
Yeah.
So you're essentially sacrificing yourself for this other person, and then you're only going to rise to the level that they're at, And so, like, if they're feeling like a 5 and you worship your partner, the best you're ever going to feel is a 5.
Wow.
Yeah, and this happens to a lot of people because if they make you feel, maybe you feel like a 3, or maybe you feel like a 2.
Yeah.
This person makes you feel like a 4, right? That's 1 better than a 3. So that becomes addictive to that person where they always want to be around them. Oh, they make me feel a little bit better because they never actually chose themselves and got themselves to a 10. So intrinsic motivation comes from within you.
Yeah.
So I'm a firm believer in that. And she was that way too. Before we had got together, she was on her own journey. So that was definitely a big piece of it for me. That's what made me like take her seriously, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I had experienced a lot of the other variety of, or the one I just said, where girls were, they like look up to you and like, whatever you want to do, they want to do. And they're like just fully subscribed, liked and commented. And like, I'm not interested in it like that. Cause I can like feel that.
Yeah.
It's a weird level of like, I'm your source of happiness. That is weird.
Yeah.
Okay. I can appreciate that if you're also on your own path, if you're your own source of happiness and I make you happy, I'm cool. But I don't want to be your drug.
Yeah.
And that happened to me in the past, right? And I felt so bad because I was like, oh man, I don't want to talk to this person. Oh. And they're like, we hanging out. I was like, good. Fluff.
You don't want to be the main source. You want to be the addition.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a collective journey here, I would suppose.
All right, so what about the saying, I want to know what y'all think about what is it they always say to single people? It comes when you least expect it. Debunk that for me. Do you guys think that's true?
Yes.
Let me go back to the last question before we stop. For the guys listening, in the trust thing, right? There has to be like, it's not a little bit of trust, it's like maximum. So I knew this going into this relationship is that I have to treat this very, very delicately because you only got one shot. Because you can put trust back together, forgiveness and all that stuff, but it's so much easier than to just not do it in the first place.
Yeah.
Like the best way to get in shape is to stay in shape.
Yeah.
Because if you let yourself get injured or you get like, wildly out of shape, the worst part's getting back into shape. It sucks. It's not fun to get derailed and have to put yourself back on. And this is the same cycle for people like, in addiction or whatever. It's like you derail. It's like, God, that sucks. Yeah, that takes you forever to get back on. And you derail again. And then the very common phrase in AA meetings was like, I don't have another relapse in me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to stay on track because I can't do that again. Right. And I had been hurt enough and been in like relationships where they weren't stable enough for me to know I am not going to tolerate in that mistrust in my relationship. And I think I definitely had a higher perspective for that due to me doing psychotherapy for people and having those deeper level conversations of this one thing can ruin an entire relationship, like the whole thing. And the person's fighting because now they're so conflicted because they want to love, they want to trust, and they can't.
Yeah.
And they've been together for 10, 20 years, 5 years, or whatever it is. I was like, man, that's horrific to watch. So that little bridge in perspective, I definitely wanted to share with people. Yeah. Is that if you really want to take it seriously, you have to protect your person. And you have to protect that trust with all that you have, and it's bigger than you are.
Yeah.
And whatever temporary thing that may seem so shiny at that moment is not worth it.
Yeah.
So even when I did mess up with Ivy or, be a jerk or something like that, I was always super quick to apologize.
Yeah.
Like I was faster to apologize than she was to forgive most of the time.
I can believe that.
Like I would say sorry and like I owned it like immediately.
Yeah.
And, like,
the silence.
Yeah, about 8 hours later. Then I get an apology.
I would say that's the best part about there's no relationship that is perfect and free of flaws and free of just like, stuff.
Yeah.
But to take ownership of when you do mess up, like just immediately, like Ben said, or even when I mess up, that's how you strengthen the trust in the relationship and keep building it and building it. And it's always been me that's been slow to forgive, but I'm working on it, and I feel like I've gotten really far.
You also haven't done anything. You haven't done anything for me to be mad at.
Yeah, so it's always been really small stuff.
Ivy doesn't require forgiveness. I do.
I know, that's so true.
Right. I'm usually the one tweaking out.
Ivy's just like in her flow. La 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 la.
I mean, she I think probably the closest I wanted to be was whenever
the pizza night.
That was kind of strange.
Oh wait, that was you. Just kidding. It wasn't.
Where, we were on the dock and we were trying to get some cool. She was like, "I want to get a picture of me diving in the water and giving you a kiss for like the whatever." And she like put her phone up for the memories. She put my phone up right here on the dock, and then she jumped off the dock. So of course it shook and it fell off into the water. Go boom.
That's the worst.
And I literally right before she did it, I was like, "Don't you let that drop in the water? Don't you do that?" And bloop. Man. Yeah.
I felt
I was like, on all of the cool photos I had from that entire van trip, all the way to the freaking Pacific Northwest, all that stuff. Cool videos, photos, all that. I was like, no. But then for me, it's a lot of like, what is the intention behind somebody's actions can really help get away from the conflicts of like, of course, she did not mean to throw your stuff into the water. And of course, my second thought was like, oh, she's careless with my stuff,
She doesn't care.
Well, so other part, and I literally had this conversation too. I was
Those intrusive thoughts.
Well, she's less. Part of it is she she doesn't see the risks like I see the risks, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of like low level paranoid and anxious. You know what I mean?
And then I'm next level above you too, so I know what you mean.
Right. So I was like, I can't be mad.
It's not gonna fall in the water.
And then when it did happen, oh, let's go get another one. I'm like, I guess she's right though. Abundance mindset.
She's right.
I was like, she is right. She is correct. You can literally just go get another one.
We could go get another $1,000 phone.
It's really like that though, which isn't wrong. It's not because it's really not worth getting it's not worth getting angry over, you know.
And that's like something that actually a lot of people would probably get. That could probably cause a big fight in a couple that isn't doing the work.
Yeah, not worth it.
And like constantly choosing the other person over whatever task is at hand. We've been talking about this task-oriented. What is it? Task-oriented things?
Conflict.
Task-oriented conflict.
You're not fighting the person. Stop taking it personally.
Oh, yeah.
It's like that's a problem in this society in general with relationships. Because I voted for X and you voted for Y. We now turn that into a personal debate where you suck and vice versa. The task was, who are we voting for? There's no, my personality isn't a task. I have two options and they both suck. I'm going to be judged no matter who I pick, you know, and I had to choose, got to choose one, you know? So it's not a good, to attack my character for that is not an appropriate way to address that problem.
Yeah.
If you had offered me somebody good to vote for, I would have voted for them.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. Right. So that's not that right there creates a huge level of animosity and issues in our culture by itself alone. And it also teaches people to go straight for the jugular. Oh, you're just a terrible person. That's why you think that. You're just a terrible. It's like, dude, no. So whatever task you're going about, like say whatever, if I really did want to go down that route and try to re-educate somebody on who they're voting for, I would approach that from a task-oriented perspective, which is I'm honoring and valuing the person that you are, and I respect your decision makings as a human being. That you've been through a lot of different things than me, and you have different perspectives, and that has probably shifted why you made that particular vote or that particular decision. I'm interested in knowing what made you come up with those decisions, and maybe perhaps I could help, or maybe even that mine are wrong, and I need some of your education.
Task, not person.
Attack the task, right?
Attack the task. Try to say that 3 times fast. Attack the task. Attack the task.
The dishes.
Attack the task.
Like we tend to like resent our partners for not doing the dishes. Oh, that's a task-oriented problem.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my partner sucks. They don't take the trash out. They don't give me enough love. I was like, that's a task you're talking about, right? That's a function that person does, which are super modifiable. Those regular. So why would you permanently throw this relationship away for one particular task that they do?
Yeah.
And that's what we are seeing in a lot of relationships. Oh, we line up 99.9% of the places, but we're not willing to agree on the 0.01%. Yeah. And that has to do with the culture where we can just swipe and get the next person. Ooh, yeah, this person's going to be a 100% match.
Instead of working on something that you already have.
Yeah.
Watering your own garden. Yeah. And nourishing
or just hop to the next option.
Yeah.
It's too easy to do.
Some people are like that.
Too easy to do.
They really.
They wouldn't be like this. These dudes are soft because they can swipe around and meet girls on the internet. When you have to go up and literally approach a woman, like in front of your friends who are yucking behind you, okay?
That's what I'm saying. It's rare.
That takes a lot of confidence and like ability and all of that. To do that a bunch of times over and over again and just keep going through them, that's not as likely to do in the past.
Yeah.
You know? And it's super easy to do now. Oh, it's on the next one. But it's probably a lot worse for girls, to be honest, because we got like 100 dudes in your DMs. Tosh?
Me?
Yeah. How many dudes are in your inbox?
Some.
Hovering around like vultures.
Huh? For a pretty girl, around like vultures. They're unlimited.
Yeah. But unlimited. A lot of times it's like, not guys that you would really.
Yeah.
Even if they are, it's like, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
They're just shooting their shot.
Because they're doing it with a bunch of other girls too.
For sure.
So it just doesn't seem as genuine. Like liking a story or saying, you're cute or hot or whatever. Yeah. It's just not, I don't know.
Word.
I like organic, meeting people organically.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way that it should be done, and it has been done in the past.
Yeah.
This new model is interesting.
Messing people's minds
works
up.
for some people.
I'm on Hinge, and every now and then I'll be like, I'll look on there, and I'm like, I can't do it, because then something happens, and I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
So I think we had moved on from that. That was the question I wanted to follow up with. And what was the second one? Oh, yeah. So don't ever lose the trust. Like, do your best to maintain it. And if you even remotely break it, you have to immediately own that.
Yeah.
And prove that I am the person who fixes the issues. And I'm aware that sometimes that is me, right? So, like, as soon as that happens, and it may not even be a big deal at all, I'm still going to bring it up and be like, hey, that was on me. That was not the right tone or whatever it was. And that ultimately makes you a better person, a better leader, because it kind of sharpens you as it moves forward.
Yeah. Take accountability, because ruminating is not fun.
And like I said, it sharpens me as well, because it makes me be on top of my game. And I have to perform at a certain level that I want to perform at. So I'm thankful that she's there. You know, you learn the most in relationships because you're always around another human being.
Yeah.
And they're a mirror. So if I'm being a jerk, I'm probably being a jerk to me. She just happens to be in the space. So then I'm a jerk to her. And then I can see it, you know. I don't want to like be a jerk to a delicate flower.
Yeah.
You can see it wilt a little bit. And you're like, no, I'm so sorry. Right?
And it kind of goes back to like the character thing too, because I don't feel like you're just like that with her. I feel like you're like that with people, you know, your friends. You've even done that
Some of them.
with me. When you say something, I'm like, you see my little lips.
Oh yeah, I've definitely done
Sorry.
that. I gotta apologize to
I'm a
Tosh.
softie.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Little lip quiver.
I'm like,
Yeah.
that was me.
Yeah. Well, it's a hard life being impulsive too, you know. 'Cause like
Yeah.
I'll legit say stuff, then like it just to say it, like it just comes out of me, and it's like reflexively just comes out.
Yeah.
And it's garbage, but that's just what I've been trained to do. So
I
when
will
like,
say
catch
you're
that, I'm
in-
like, what was that?
I mean, at least to me, I know your intention is usually to help. It just comes out a little bit more,
Abrasive.
yeah, a little bit more stingy.
Right. Watch out. Yeah. But you're also, so I definitely want to highlight that, you know, what time are you spending around me is usually like off of my work. So
Yeah.
for me, my passion is my work. So that's what gets my best energy and effort and attitude. And so you're seeing me outside of the gym.
Yeah.
You're seeing me outside of, you know, psychotherapy or doctor work that I greatly enjoy. So usually when I see you on the weekends or at night, I'm like already kind of irritable. My back is hurt. And now here's another
"What's
person
up,
coming to me with their problems. Right? Like, just do the thing. I don't have time. Okay.
That's so true. I won't lie. A couple of those times, I'm like, you know what? He's right.
That's the point, though. You couldn't have those. That's why I knew, because I knew I had ends. So, like, this is kind of funny, but like, I knew you weren't going anywhere. So that means, like, okay, how quickly can I make this person a kind of a co-character in my movie? Because like we're making a movie all the time, and the people around you, it's like the Avengers. Those are your co-stars, and you're training them the same way that they're training you to be a co-character in their movie.
Yeah.
You know? So it's kind of like Lord of the Rings. So like we gather all your people, but as the journey unfolds, as the adventure unfolds, all of the characters are different at the beginning of the movie than they are at the end of the movie. And that's the way that I viewed it. Of like, oh, well, this person just came into my movie, and I don't really know them that well. I want to get them on my team so we can move towards a common goal, and they can move towards theirs.
Yeah.
So it really just came down to I knew you weren't going anywhere. So I was like, how quickly can I get her in a situation? Because I was like doing the math. I was like, Natasha is traveling all the time, which means she's not going to be around to like, you know, watch our kids. And it's hard to date a girl if she's not flying around everywhere. Like she needs her own practice where she can like do her own thing. And she obviously has a passion for this. So why doesn't she just do that? And then I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to pitch this.
Speed this up.
Yeah, you were like the main pusher when it came to
Now
me
you're
finally.
a sober life coach.
I know, becoming a sober
crushing it.
life coach.
That's right.
I'm always like, it was my friend, Dr. Ben.
And you're soon to be a lit clinic coach. Lit coach, lit life coach. Yeah, 2.0s.
Okay. So the other question was, it happens when you least expect it. I want to know your thoughts. Because a lot of single people, this is for me, and I'm speaking for all the singles out there. We get that all the time, and I'm not going to lie, it's kind of annoying because it's like, okay. Like everybody kind of eventually wants to have that connection and love. So it's not like you're completely not expecting it. It'd be nice to have. And then what's the difference between that and like manifesting that person? Yeah. What are your thoughts? What are y'all's thoughts on that?
I would say you have to want it, but not want it.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's a duality of like, it's like you can strive satisfied.
Yeah.
You can move very aggressively towards a goal and be totally fine if you don't get it. That's what people struggle with. They think that they can't be happy until they have it. Their thing. That's a lie being sold to the masses. And this is very common in like the high performance space of like, if I like go completely obsessed and I'm not okay unless I have the gold medal or the girl or the jet or whatever, now I'm all that life in between me and me having that thing is completely wasted. It's suffering. It's lost. It's in a state of scarcity and lack.
Yeah.
Versus, oh, well, here's something. I already have absolutely everything that I need. I am good. I'm going to work towards this particular goal, though. And I can still do both of those things because it feels really good to move towards something. But it also feels really good to have everything. And you can do both.
Yeah. So want it, but be okay without it.
Yeah. And I want to speak from personal experience because I experienced that exactly. And then I'm going to also add on to that is... it happens when you least expect it, and also you have to become the person that you want to be with. Ooh, and that was my journey. Was I had gone through a period where it just felt I was so deeply lonely, and I had to come to that to realize, oh, okay, I actually do want a relationship, because I had been lying to myself for a long time, like I'm gonna be single forever. Relationships are not for me, like lying to yourself about something so you don't have to feel the emptiness of not having it. And so after accepting that I did want a relationship and spending a lot of time working on those things and just like self transformation and personal growth, and then feeling that desire, and then whenever Ben and I reconnected again, that opportunity was there, and I could feel myself like are we gonna date? And then after that, I just like the uncertainty was killing me, and I was like, you know what? I know what I want, and I don't care if it's him. So I'm not going to like want it so bad that like I have to like hold on to it. I'm just gonna let it happen and continue on my path and my journey, because I know where I will be, or at least, somewhere that's towards my goal.
Yeah.
And then the second that I completely let go of any expectation with me or him, it was like in that week or two where things just started speeding up, and I was like, what is happening right now? I don't know what's going on, but I'm just going to go with it.
Do you feel like you could tell like the change, the shift in energy? Could you feel that? Or were you guys talking prior when you first were feeling like, oh, I want this?
I'd say maybe at a deeper level. Can I say conscious appraisal? Did I see that go down? No, but for me to ask somebody to be my girlfriend at that particular time when I hadn't dated anybody for like 3 years.
Yeah.
And
where you were at too. Like,
well, I said the next girl that I date, I'm gonna marry. I knew that. So
that's what I said too. I was like, the next guy I date.
That's what I'm saying too, guys. Still waiting, but let it go, like you said. Want it, but don't want it. Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah, it's like, so like when you start dating in your late 20s, it's like it would take roughly 2 to 3 years for me to really see if I like this person.
Yeah.
So do I really want to waste anything on like a little bit of a gamble here? I was like, not really, because by the time I get out of this relationship in 2 years, before I realize we're not going to make it, and now I'm going to be like early 30s, then I have to start looking again, and the dating pool just closed down a little bit. So, and then you do it again, so now you're 35, 36, and then you do it again, and now you're 38, 39, and I've seen that happen to people too.
Yeah.
Because they have too low of standards for dating, and then not at the right level of it. So you end up dating somebody who's below caliber or below the standard of what you would expect. So then, of course, over time, it's not going to go the direction that you wanted it to. That's not a good screening process, essentially.
Yeah.
So you have to screen who you date. And if this person, like the small holes on the screen, you don't want like real big holes on the screen. And everybody's coming through. Some dudes will date.
I see what you're saying.
Some guys will date anybody.
Yeah.
There's whoever talks to them, they're
that.
all in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how you get got right there, boys. Don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't want to be accessible to everybody.
Mm-mm.
Well, and usually it's like, so whenever that happened to me, like, my thought was like, don't trust a fish that jumps into the boat.
Ooh.
Why is that?
Because you know they're probably going to jump in other boats.
I don't know. It's just weird. I'm out here to fish. I'm here to catch a fish. I don't want you to jump in my boat. Where's the skill? You know what I mean? There's no,
men are hunters.
Yeah,
they want to
there's no attempt
pursue,
there.
not chase, pursue.
Yeah. Well, so like men are we aim. So whenever we date down and across the hierarchy. We're going to date somebody generally poorer than us and not as attractive as us. That's how it generally goes. Women are the opposite. They can date up and across. Women have what the men want. Men do not have what the women want. Right?
Yeah, I can see that. Is that actually like sign?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, for sure.
wow.
Women have the eggs. You have twice as many female ancestors as you do male ancestors. A lot of men do not reproduce. Only a few men do a majority of the reproducing, and a lot of them just die off as not reaching that and don't have kids and such. It's competitive out there.
Wow.
Yeah, women can be selective in that way. So there was a point to that story. Help me out here.
Don't trust the fish that jumps into the boat.
Oh yeah.
Keep your
job,
standards
Ivy.
high. That's a really good one, actually. Know exactly what it is that you want in a relationship. So becoming the person that you want to date, I think plays into that.
So I think my mind wrapped around it was I didn't get screened by this woman at all.
Who?
Say the fish that jumped in the boat.
Oh,
right?
Oh yeah, just whoever.
She was like, "Who?
Whatever.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Who?
Well, I didn't have to demonstrate my competency. She didn't. She didn't
like scope you out.
She didn't ask me.
That's not
like,
attractive.
What do you want to do with your life? Like, do you want kids? Do you not want kids?
Yeah.
She was like, yeah, here I am.
It's like desperate energy.
Yeah, it's not not what you would want in an ideal partner. Because I think part of it is like you want a little bit of that initial friction, that initial dance that literally makes the bond stronger.
Yeah.
You know? It's kind of like, pretty much any movie where like the person finds the animal in the wild and at first there's like friction and like the animal's like, no. And the person's like, putting their hand out, trying to touch the dragon real slow.
Yeah, that's
Now,
true.
if you just pulled up and the dragon was like, just like wanted to be friends immediately
Like-
and like no problems, I'm like,
Do I want the dragon?
I don't know if I want this anymore.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, it's going to do this to anybody. So like, am I even special?
Yeah, that's a very good
Yeah,
point.
For sure. It's like, where are your standards at is kind of the underlying tone.
Yeah, that's good.
You're getting into, it's like, get into this van. We got candy. We got a nice couch. We got everything taken care of for you. Everything you want. Don't ask any questions. Just get in. Come on. Just come on. It's like, I got some red flags going off here.
Something sketch about this.
Yeah, or you get those emails. Oh, free giveaway.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
Yeah. I think that's the problem a lot of women have now in the dating pool is that they're not sticking to those core standards that deeply within them they know that they want.
Yeah.
But they're just like going for whatever guy gives them attention, and they think that attention is what gives them value.
Yeah.
Like, it's not really my type, but like he's giving me attention and that makes me feel good about myself. So I'm going to give it a chance. And
this is why girls give the guys who jump in the DMs every once in a while. They'll like it. Every once in a while they'll reply. And that'll happen for years just to keep them on the hook. Just enough where flatter me. make me feel seen.
Give me an ego boost. I'm sad today.
That happens. That happened the other day. It clicked. I was like, oh wow. At some point in time, I was doing that, and then the only time that this girl ever responded to me or said anything back was when she was so bored.
Yep.
and so like desperate for some kind of entertainment. Like, oh, I'm just gonna scroll through my DMs and just, hook up a couple dudes. And I was like, yo, that was me, And then I was like, oh yeah, she hit me back. And then nothing again. And it would just be like that every 6 months or something like that. And then I finally clicked. I was like, man,
you've been played.
Yeah, I've been played. and she's sad.
Yeah. She's still sad.
She's sad. Nobody's a winner here. This is pathetic across the board. Pathetic.
Yeah. That's why I was saying earlier, like when you get likes or whatever, or heart eyes, it's just like, meh.
It's so superficial. It's just a little no effort.
It's like, you really think that's going to make me, well, it's probably because I'm doing the work on myself, I'm trying to fill my cup and focus just on me. So yeah, now probably, I won't lie, back in the day when I was not in a healthy relationship with myself, yeah, for sure. Back when we were in our partying days, oh, he liked this, he liked that.
Yeah.
Now, because of this shift in me, I'm like, you really think, boy.
Well, it's reflective of you. Like you doing the work requires deep introspection. Deep. Anything that's superficial is just not going to cut it. Yeah. It's just going to absolutely fly by.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's coming up honestly in therapy, people wanted to connect on a deeper level. So I think this is what happened is there was a hyper superficiality, right? So like the most superficial things could be our words and images. And that is all that we are seeing now, especially during COVID. At one point in time, you only saw somebody, you only spoke to them. That was your only mode of communicating with that person. And that's all that you ever experienced. So you're really good at that. Now, all of a sudden, we have removed interpersonal communications, right? And then put in a bunch of digital communications. So we reversed it. Now, this has become the normal, but our systems aren't designed for that. That doesn't make any sense, right? At all. So we have to see that and know that there's what's beneath the surface here. It's like the whole iceberg thing. You only see like the top couple percentage of it. The rest of it's all down below. And you cannot get that until you're literally one-on-one with another human being.
It's like
for a long time.
Purpose.
For a long time. For a long time. Which makes sense. What other questions you got? Pull them up.
I know. I was like, let me.
These will be great clips, though. A couple bangers in here. Thank you all for listening. Here.
Ooh, all right.
The suspense is killing me.
How to keep the spark in a romantic relationship.
I'll say the same thing. Don't lose it.
Yeah.
A tip that I recently learned and have implemented and have seen the benefits, have reaped the benefits.
Tell us the tea. Tell us.
After reconnecting with your partner, after you've been separated, so whether you leave and come home after a gym session or a vacation, or basically anytime you've been separated from your partner and you come together again, the first thing you should always do is reestablish a connection without, give a smooch, give a long hug, maybe breathe together for a few breaths, synchronizing the nervous systems. And I have been guilty of this where we'll come home and, one of us is on the couch and it's just like, hey, or someone comes in, they're like talking about something that happened, or did you do this and did you do that? It doesn't set you up for a great foundation for the rest of the next day or the few hours that you'll be spending together, because that's the energy that you established with was just casual. And so I started, now when I come home from the gym, it's always like no words, just give me a hug, give me a smooch, give me love. And I feel like it's made a really big difference.
For sure.
Because now it changes the way that we speak to each other all the time. And we have had, I think it's been a great change in our relationship. And I think people should implement that in their relationships. I think that's a great
idea.
If you talk to them like they're a homie, more than you talk to them like they're your life partner, they will eventually become a homie.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah. Other thing is practicing like legitimate date nights. So keep hunting. I think the problem is that dudes stop hunting. Whenever just because you get in a relationship doesn't mean that is the best relationship that it could be.
Yeah.
And good is the enemy of the better. And it is notorious that one of the easiest ways to lower a man's testosterone is actually to put him in a relationship. It appeases everything.
Wow.
And now we're relaxed. Now we're calm.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Target obtained, you know, and dopamine and testosterone kind of go hand in hand a little bit. So the higher the test, the higher the dopamine, and vice versa.
Yeah, I feel like you guys have always been good at having your Wednesday night date nights.
Well, we weren't there for that was like a later on implemented thing. And then it just became wildly necessary when we did it. And thankfully, like I said, the way to not lose a spark is just to keep it going.
Yeah.
So whenever I felt that kind of dipping down, and it was about the same time I actually had made my program, so it just worked perfectly, where we started doing it every Wednesday night. Perfect. A1 timing. That way we never actually lost it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. That's something I would definitely implement in my relationship.
But also even that one started to fade a little bit. And then I realized every week it's on me. You know, I had to plan it every week, and I'm like super busy and like trying to build businesses and stuff.
Yeah.
So then what we started to do that really helped out was we start rotating. So then adds a little flair to it, and like now she has to surprise me with something and take me on one, and then vice versa.
Yeah.
And that's kind of fun though, because now you're legitimately competing with each other.
Yeah, I like that. That's cute.
And then he's like, every other Wednesday, he's like, what are we going to do? Where are you taking me? I'm like, be quiet.
You're like,
You're going to be surprised.
it's a surprise. You can wait. Go and work.
It's really fun. There was one time I took him to Factory Obscura, to this interactive art place. Oh, it was so fun.
That was a blast.
I've heard of that. I don't really know what it is, but
He loved it. And so did I.
That was a blast. And I think just to kind of hit that one point is just because you're in a good relationship doesn't mean that it's the best relationship. So don't get too satisfied or too comfortable in it.
yeah.
So like on those Wednesdays, like take it seriously. Like act as though this is like your first date.
Yeah.
And you're showing up and like you're on like excited and you're on good behavior here. Like I'm trying to pull this off.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pull this off in the clutch.
Pursuing it.
Yeah. You have to go after it and think about how could I make this person fall more in love with me. And I already have a huge body of work and I don't know if I could be loved more. And now I have to go even higher.
Yeah.
Literally trying to expand that more and more and more and more.
Yeah.
It's like depth, not width, you know?
That's good. Some good stuff.
Also, acro yoga,
Yeah.
journaling together. Believe it or
that-
not, journaling together was nice. We used to do that all the time at the coffee shops, just across from each other, and we'd be doing gratitude journals or whatever as we're sipping on some, and you get into a nice little flow, and then they look up and she'll like share something, and I'll share something, and that was a really good one for me. That's a core,
I feel like that
core
definitely
memory.
helps bring like the deepness
Having
of the
a spiritual
relationship
practice
deep
together.
Yeah.
Oh, we also forgot almost die together.
Oh yeah, I can't forget that. That's a really good one. Everybody should try that one out.
Yeah, squat it. Yeah,
That's either you make it or break it.
Yeah.
we're of course talking about the squat rack. Yeah, we work out together. That's
I thought you were talking about the.
we are.
Oh,
The car crash. Yeah. Car
if
crash
you
stuff.
want to have the feeling of almost dying, go squat with your significant.
For sure. No, I put that in the post I made is doing difficult things together.
Ooh.
Like this was a game changer. Like when you
Yeah.
do really hard stuff together, and now whenever that sets a threshold or a standard for what difficult is in your relationship. So whenever you're at the house and something goes down, oh, this isn't nearly as hard as putting up a PR, you know,
Yeah.
with your girl spotting you, you know. You can't be soft in front of your girl at the gym. You had better get that.
Yeah.
So that by there just adds a layer of like sturdiness to it. Like what is your threshold for frustration with your partner?
Yeah.
If it's just the dishes, that's soft.
Yeah. Bless you.
But yeah, the car crash too. Other thing is like, imagine if you had this person that you were like, because we were big in the puppy love phase right then, you know, like the thing that you always wanted, and like it would just had become real to us, where we were officially dating and kind of like not quite living together, but you know, hanging out frequently and regularly.
Yeah.
And then everything was going perfectly. Like we're having a freaking blast, like falling in love taking photos on the lake, all that stuff. You know what I mean? Dancing on the rooftops. It was epic. And then you get into a car crash and you almost see your partner legit die, and vice versa. That made us appreciate each other at that level. Like, oh, here's this thing that I have wanted for so long, like the stuff you read about in books and in movies. Yeah. And then I almost had it taken away from me, like in the flash of an instant, completely unexpected. That'll shake you right there to a point like, oh, well, I'm going to respect this and trust this situation then. So it just made it way more real. And that if I would have lost her that day, I would not be okay.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm a tough person.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that it must be bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really just, like you said, it was puppy love. And then the next day it was like, okay,
it was real
I
love.
need you to like dress me and like help me shower. And like, I'm watching you like step into this role of like caretaker for a while, and it's not casual.
Mm-hmm. Things that
like, what are we gonna do? Like, I'm not working. You know, we're building this. Are we doing it? Are we building this life together?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you living with me now? Like, are we? Yeah. So it just, I always say, I don't know. It just, that car crash completely accelerated our relationship.
Yeah, because I feel like you guys did things that married people do when they're like elderly, taking care of each other. You got to already kind of experience a little bit of that.
So like experiences are the real currency. Yeah. So like you can be in a relationship for somebody for like say 5 years, and nothing bad would have actually ever happened in that 5 years. Like nobody died, everybody was cool, there was no obstacles, there was no challenges. So you don't get to see who this person really is in the face of adversity.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
That's what happened to us, is I got to see what she was like in the face of adversity.
Yeah.
And I thought she was cool and all that stuff too, but I also thought she was kind of like soft and prissy, you know? And then I saw her with like a broken shoulder and a broken wrist, like still laughing and thanking the firemen and like being super kind to them. Mm-hmm. And then of course coming back into the room after surgery, and she was like doing lunges in the room with her hospital gown on, and I was like, that's the one.
This is the one.
That's the one right there.
I know now.
That's the one.
Well, I was like, dude, let's go. You know, like I was coming back like, oh, are you okay, my little bird? She's like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. She's like, babe, I feel great.
Yeah. And then the painkillers wore off the next day, and it was terrible. But we
But even then didn't complain about it though. Mm-hmm. Like she didn't, like whenever, because it was like pouring rain, broken wrist, broken shoulder, and I was all jacked up too.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't complain. Like this person wasn't like, like crying and like, get me out of here, or even worse, start like complaining at you and like that
getting mad at you,
right,
or
like, we're already in hell and you're gonna make it worse. You know, like that's the worst thing that you could possibly have. And the only biblical verse correlating to how to choose a partner is pick somebody that you'd go to war with. Yeah. Like, do I want this person in my foxhole? Do I want them in my bunker? Do I want them on the front lines with me when they're just like, hey, what are you doing? We should be going this way. We don't have enough ammunition. I'm like,
I think any man would.
We got Charlie on the other side of the hill. Okay, we got bogeys coming in. Yeah, that's not what I'm trying. It's not what I'm trying to deal with in high stress situations, because life is a little bit of a war. Yeah, it is a challenge. It is spiritual warfare for sure. You're going to see people die together. You're going to see things thrive and things crash. You know, economies too, and warfare. You know, legit wars. So like, if you can't tolerate even going through regular day-to-day activities with this person, what makes you think you're going to be able to endure the death of a loved one, or even worse, a long protracted death of a loved one, like say cancer or something along those lines, and certainly a car crash, something like that too.
Yeah. Or even when it gets hard, when you have kids and like you're sleep deprived and you're both a little cranky and you've never experienced adversity together, and now you're expecting to just be okay, work through it. It's not going to be okay. It's going to be hard.
Especially because you want to be a good example for the kids too. So if you haven't went through that before them, that's like ends up impacting them as well.
Yeah.
There's also like whenever you bond through pain a little bit, you know, it's like, this is kind of how men bond, is you work towards a common goal that's really difficult together, and you kind of figure it out as you're doing it. It's like team sports. That's the best way to, you know, kind of get to bond with somebody. So whenever and you're doing that as a couple too, the same thing is happening. And like, if you can, like, she was all jacked up. We didn't want to take the painkillers, and we were trying to get through it, all this pain, all natural. So we stayed in love in a really painful situation.
Yeah.
Right? Really painful. Like, wake up in the middle of the night and she'd be crying. And like, I couldn't even really roll over and try to cuddle her. And I would just like try and fight my way over to be like, it's okay, babe.
Yeah. We couldn't even cuddle. I forget about that. How terrible that was.
I do remember you saying something like that.
The puzzle pieces were messed up because I think it was like my right side and your left side or something like that. So we couldn't fit together. You know, like Tesla.
Just see you two like trying.
Or Tetris pieces that wouldn't fit.
And then trying to get out of bed was terrible.
Yeah.
So hard. Every movement.
I was like, who's gonna do it first? So you can help the other person. I'm stuck. I literally can't get up. My collarbone is jacked. My back is jacked.
Oof.
It was gnarly. Other questions you got? I think we pretty well covered that. Yeah, I think.
Let's
Good job,
see. I got a couple.
We got time for like one more 4-minute one.
Okay. I'll let you guys pick which question you want to answer. When it comes to the man leading the relationship, like the traditional roles, or another one, advice to singles. But you guys answered most of the other ones.
That leadership one sounds nice.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good one.
Can you repeat it to me?
Just like the traditional role of, or I guess what would now be considered like old school of like the man leading the relationship, kind of what your opinions on that are.
Sure. What are you going to start?
Because you know how like, I guess I should preface too with like now with, I don't know where this, with like the feminine movement and things like that, and women being girl bosses, and I feel like sometimes some women are very much in the masculine, which makes it hard to be in a relationship. If we're in the masculine, how is the man supposed to be? You know what I'm saying?
Too many chefs in the kitchen?
Yeah.
This happens sometimes because Ivy's the chef in the kitchen, and I'll be in the kitchen trying to chef it up.
Like,
and she's like, and she's like trying to like, and it's like she's in her alpha.
Backseat chef.
She's in her masculine. She's like, what are you doing? You should salt after, not now. I'm like, babe, I am cooking for myself right now.
What are you doing in my kitchen?
I've been cooking for 30 years.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna get it for you. Get out of the way.
Literally.
I'll get it for you.
Yeah. Just let me do it. No, I'm like, no.
That's funny. I got really lucky that Ben was raised in a home where he saw that play out in a really healthy, as much as it could be, way. His parents are both very Christian. His mom stayed at home. His dad was the breadwinner, and his dad was dad. And I never saw that growing up. Like my grandparents, you know, not healthy, not happy. My mother was also very in her masculine, and my father was just kind of going through his wild time when I was young. And so I didn't ever know what it was to have a man lead in a relationship, where it just felt weird or wrong to me because I never saw it.
Yeah.
And I always say I've been incredibly blessed, because the whole dynamic that we have now is just because I got lucky and I got blessed by God that my fiance, you know, I don't have to tell him any of these things. He just intrinsically knows. And that's because he has his own journey his own spiritual work that he does, to where that allows him to know these things and understand them from that kind of level. And we've just established this dynamic together, really. It wasn't that like one of us was like, I need to be this way and you need to be that way. We just naturally fell into these roles. And over time, you know, all this new information has come out, and research and doing our own spiritual work. It just makes sense, because it allows me to fully be in my feminine and fall into my creativity and be in my softness. And that makes it easy for him to step into his role of authority and
going hard.
Yeah. And we were just talking about this in the car with like certain addictions and stuff, where I feel like Ben never struggled with that because he had such a higher purpose of like, there's no room for all this like wiggle stuff happening in the background.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he's not worried about having a porn addiction when he's trying to save humanity and lead a family.
Yeah.
And being the best man that he can be in our relationship.
Yeah.
And like
and porn is unhealthy.
He's completely like
Reminder.
That is his full soul calling. And I think a lot of men don't have that.
Yeah.
And they don't have the permission, or they don't feel like they have the permission to fully step into their power.
Yeah.
So then there's all this extra room to F around.
Yeah.
And
Facts.
And then now we're struggling with things like this, where it's like, oh, should the man be the leader of the house? And it's like, I mean, you tell him that that's his role and give him permission and tell him to fully confidently step into that. And it's good for them.
Yeah, it's awesome.
They need it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would agree. Is that, and I think this
it's like going into war haphazardly. You either go or you don't.
Yeah.
Mm.
You either lead or you don't.
Yeah, there's no in between.
There's no in between.
I mean, I kind of think about, so my undergrad was in biology, and you're thinking about evolutionarily, like kind of like a beehive, you know? All the bees that you see are male, and the queen is in the hive, surrounded by honey, being taken care of luxuriously.
Living the life.
Living the absolute life with the royal jelly.
I want to be
Right.
a bee.
The royal jelly.
Right. Well, so like, so even the word, so to be led, that implies that there must be somewhere to go.
Yeah.
Right. So this is and for men, spirituality is pursuit of the highest ideal. That is the men are hunters thing. It is wired into us to target something and move towards that thing. So when it comes down to which direction are we going, I'm already wired that way. It's already built into me. Is I'm going to pursue the best thing that I could possibly obtain and just go after that. And if I don't do that, then there's a massive level of stimulation missing in my life.
Yeah.
A massive level. And guess what I'm going to do if I don't have that stimulation? I am going to create that or do something stupid with my time.
Yeah.
So that is how these strange addictions work their way into your life, or anything for that matter that gets in the way of your development. So we want to make sure that we, like as a man, you have to have the thing that you do. You have to have your warpath. And you pick that thing out and you just go all the way on it. You know, be Sigma male, be autistic, be crazy, be wild, be motivated. I don't care, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then along that path, you become the man who is responsible and capable of all of the things. You can't just reverse engineer that. You can't hack that. There's no cheat code here. The only way to make that happen is to pick something really special to you and give it everything that you have for an extended duration of time. I was a skinny, fat, dumb redneck before I started this. And when I said I wanted to become a doctor, okay, it became real to me. I literally wanted to save people's lives. That's the only thing that I wanted to do. And along that way, I had to take care of my physical health. If I'm going to take care of other people, I got to be able to take care of me, right?
Yeah.
So take care of my physical health, and then studying like crazy, time management skills. I had to actually show up to class on time and take notes and then organize the notes. right? And then communicate with other people and share notes and then work together to figure out things in, different like team-based settings. So along that journey, I became the person who was capable of doing that, and I became hyper competent, right? I'm really good at what I do because I've done it as hard as I could possibly do it for as long as I possibly could. Like it was just nonstop.
Yeah.
Versus, and that's a skill set that comes from that. So if we were in war with somebody, like, did you have to do that to that capacity?
What do you mean?
Do what I did. You didn't have to do that.
No.
So I'm saying you didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
So of the two of us, who would be in charge of leading?
You.
Yeah.
And also, she has to raise children. And I still have to be out there pioneering and frontiering in the wilderness, right? I have to be out there on the front lines doing that.
Yeah.
I can't have the baby and be on the front lines fighting at the same time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we are dyads. The human species is like male and female. We were supposed to interplay off of each other, like two strands of DNA. They have that they need each other to hang on to each other. Otherwise, it just falls apart. So we have different responsibilities. Doesn't make us weaker. We're just different. And embracing our limitations is embracing our strengths, right? So if I am 6'2", 205 pounds of grizzly war-torn muscle, okay? So am I supposed to like just let that completely go and just not use that at all? Just because I felt like I should have been a poet. Okay? I probably would have been a great poet. I'd write some banger poems.
Yeah.
But would I throw away my intellect and the body that I have and the energy that I have and the skills that I have? When it's a lot of work, but if I use it appropriately, I can do a bunch of stuff to help a lot of people. Responsibility is the ability to respond. So if we build that, of course, we're going to be, what's the word here? Like if we're going to go to war, I sure hope that, am I going to let Ivy, call the shots on where we're going and how we're doing it and stuff? This is no offense. This is no offense to Ivy. This is purely the matter of we're on the same team with the same goal. Like if we said we have to put together a 5-star dish and 20 people are rolling up outside, do you think I'm going to take the lead on that? I mean, I might be in charge of like the energy and like, hey, let's freaking da-da-da-da-da-da, but like when it comes down to like what we're making the dish and how we're doing it and where to get the supplies, you know what I mean? I would be like, yo, what do we do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's part of leadership too, is it's not this weird like alpha, what I say goes all of the time. No, I'm constantly asking for advice or what can I do better? How many times have we gone to bed and I asked, what is something I could do better?
All the time.
All the time.
Oh, I love that.
Anything I could do better? Because I'd rather know now than like pay more in the future. I can't stand getting in fights. Terrible.
Yeah, they're terrible.
Yeah, they're the worst.
Yeah. So I guess just to answer that question of like, to be led towards something, like if you want to be led, you need a man who is then aiming towards something and you'll be led along that path. So what is the ultimate ideal for that man? What is his principles and his values? And then you are going to be following him on the path to that. But honestly, that means that you like and respect those values as well and those ideals. So of course you would want to sign up with that. We're both trying to play the same game. You want to be happier, live longer, be abundant, and look good doing it. I'm going to wear your jersey.
Yeah.
And that's how I describe it.
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
That was one of the many qualities about Ben that I fell deeply in love with, was his love and his passion for helping people. And I think when you see that in a man and he is like so genuine about it, like anybody, everybody, anywhere, he just wants to elevate, and like the love that he has for his family and his values for being honest, it's just like you can't buy those things. You literally can't. When you find a person, not even a man, just a person who has those values, hang on to them.
Yeah, you want them in your life.
You want them in your corner. You don't want someone who's like,
transactional either,
just
or
saying whatever they want just to appease people or like
Yeah. Like, you don't want the too nice of a guy.
No.
Sneaky males.
Because then he'll just,
because then he'll say to everybody.
He'll say whatever he wants to just make sure that you're fine, or make sure that you get whatever you want to hear. Mm-hmm. But really, we don't want that. Mm-mm. We want someone who's going to tell us the way that it is and how we can improve if needed. And
that's a weird one, because girls are kind of, they say they don't want that, but in reality, that is exactly what they want.
Yeah.
They just don't want, they want to hear it from the right person, though.
Absolutely.
It's just like girls saying, I don't want to be approached. I don't want to be approached. I was like, you're telling me that if a strong-armed Southern gentleman walked up to you in just a perfect flowing hair, just the guy, and it's just as polite and as authentic as he could possibly be,
goes to church every Sunday,
tries to help you put your luggage up in the airplane, I would
say go right ahead.
In which case I want to be approached. Right.
Yeah.
So the same. So this is where guys got to be careful.
Yeah.
Is that they become afraid because they're like, oh well, girls don't like that. That's not true.
Don't like you.
You're approaching the wrong ones.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, there's that whole thing on the internet where it's like,
or you're not. Yeah, you suck.
Yeah. You're probably coming off creepy, sir.
Yeah. Maybe go do some. Go to church and do some meditations and work out.
Attractive guy is like, kind of quiet. Like, oh, he's so reserved and stoic. And like, if an ugly guy is quiet, he's so creepy.
Oh, no, I don't think that.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. If there's a dude with his hood on and he's chubby and with acne and listen to his music, you look at that person, you're like, what's this person? Like, what's going on over there, right? Versus like you see like a really good looking dude, headphones on, same hoodie on, and it's like, oh, he's so mysterious.
I'm sure most of the population would feel that way.
I know, but this is the issue. Is like, well, that guys think that they can't talk to a woman that way, and that is not true. You can certainly, because you have to lead, and they want to see that, but you have to be the one where they want to be led by you.
Yeah.
So you can't just throw the whole practice away. Right. Because eventually, like I was not afraid to talk to girls. I know that's not true. I wasn't. I just had the audacity to do it. You know what I mean?
You could talk to anybody.
Right. Well, I was no choice. I was no choice for shooting my shot, even though there was no goal. Still shooting. Right.
Gonna land one of them eventually, right?
Club, like, what do you think about life? What do you think about dying?
Yeah.
What's your purpose in life?
Well, actually, I was blessed.
Right
I was blessed with older brothers,
Oh, yeah.
And we go out and they're like, we're going to play the point game. And I was like, what's a point game? He goes, whoever I point at, you have to talk to. And I was like, what?
That's some good practice there.
It is.
Ooh.
Dude, it doesn't get any better than that with your brother, your older brother, like your cooler older brother. Like, I had better freaking, we got to show up here because I can't back down from my old, like, if you have an older brother, you got to show up because if you first of all, if you don't do it, he's going to beat you up. Right. And this is Daniel. But yeah, we would walk around. He's like, yep, that one. And my brother was not, oh, here's a little layup for you. He like here is the baddest biddy in this entire place standing next to a dude that's like a foot taller than you.
No.
And yeah,
what?
Yeah. Like I'm 6'2", 210. This dude's 6'5", 250.
Oh
Like, yeah, go talk to that girl. And I would go do it. And you know what's crazy is it would go really well.
Yeah.
And because it shattered my imagination. Because I always thought that I was going to like, dude, this dude's going to like freaking wail on me and she's going to like shoot me down. And I'd walk up and it was the craziest thing because there was just such a level of audacity to walk up and do that.
Yeah,
I think true. The girls, I think they legit were like,
this guy's got some guts.
You're like, dude, this dude's got a pair of somethings.
Yeah.
I'm trying to listen to what you're about to say. So that was one of the yeah. So you play that game right there, that'll wear you out on any level of fear.
Yeah.
And then in hindsight, you kind of reflect and be like, yeah, it's not that bad. And it's really weird because you get shot down by like some people you were not expecting to get shot down by, and then the people you think that would not give you the chance of day, time of day, are actually some of the kindest and sweetest people. There was an original question that we were trying to answer.
Leading.
Oh yeah.
I feel like you answered it for the most part.
Yeah. So your own internal thing is what you are leading towards, guys. Like if you're going towards something pretty righteous, of course she's going to want to hop on that. So,
yeah.
Like if I didn't have a mission, she wouldn't like me.
Mm-mm.
And if I didn't have a mission, I would degrade into nothingness. That wouldn't be worth being with anyway.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. All right. Well, I'm down to close it down. We went 50 minutes over. So,
holy moly!
Closing remarks.
Woohoo! No,
that was a great conversation.
Yeah.
More of these coming, y'all. Stay tuned. Hit that hit that button.
Lots of good stuff.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.